comes to your painting project, one of the first things you should think about is safety, and especially interior painting. In fact, OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Hazardous Association, came out with a report that found more accidents happen in interior painting than exterior painting. So in this video, we're going to help you out with some tips to provide a good safety setup for when you use your tools and when you use your paint for your project from beginning to end. This is Dan Frost from H.D.F Painting, the fine art of painting, and this is Talk Shop with Frost. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Our channel is Talk Shop with Frost. What we do in this channel is we provide insights, ideas, and tips to the painting industry. And it's really helpful for homeowners or anyone interested in a painting project. So what I'd like you to do is hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss our next video. Okay, so you've identified the area that you want to paint. One of the first things to consider in terms of safety is air ventilation. You want to open up the windows, maybe put in a fan. You want to be able to breathe well, okay? If it's a case where you're doing a lot of prep work and sanding, you want to think about an air respirator, or at least a mask, a dust mask. So that is a first safety concern, to think about proper ventilation, okay? The other safety feature you want to do, especially if you're washing walls or if you're removing wallpaper, for any outlets that you come across, you want to tape those outlets. They also make, and you'll see this on the video, they also make a socket protector for those electrical outlets. You want to use that, okay? So another thing in terms of safety to consider, especially if your house was built before 1987, is the lead content in your house, all right? It's a good idea to buy a lead paint test to test for lead on the interior or the exterior. In fact, we have a video about lead paint removal that you might want to look at in terms of once you've discovered if there's lead paint, this is how to proceed in terms of the prep and the painting. So you're ready to paint now. Most of the paint these days are low VOC, volatile organic compounds, water-based. There are situations where you're going to use an oil-based product, maybe oil-based primer, or bin alcohol-based, or fine paints of Europe, or maybe you like the oil trim paint. And in that case, you'll want to still think about having good ventilation or good protection with a respirator, or even if you want to go a little further with that, you can get a really good ventilation system with the zip wall to protect the area that you're going to be working in. It also helps with the finish, smoother finish, but in terms of safety, it's not a bad idea either. Okay, so once you've done that, maybe you have an area that you need some ladders to work on, typically a step ladder. So you should follow directions that they say. Don't use this top step on a step ladder. It's good to have a little platform on your step ladder so you can put your bucket of paint on in terms of safety, and just make sure you rest that ladder on all four legs of the ladder is in a stable position. It's not rocking at all. Pretty common sense type of work on that part. So you've delved into the painting, you're starting to do that. One other thing you might want to consider is you might want to use some nitrile gloves to protect your hands. Even if it's latex, you don't want to get too much of that product on you. So it's a good idea to use those nitrile gloves for protection. So now that you've finished your paint project, it's time to clean up. Here's some real important safety features to consider. Especially if you've been doing some stain work or oil work and you have rags with that product on it, or you have some rags with some paint there. Do not store them together out in the open, because you might get some spontaneous combustion and you'll cause a fire. I've seen this happen. It's really important. when you're using those rags that have any sort of solvent on it or stain or any VOC, high VOC content product on it, submerge those rags into a metal bucket with water, okay, and store it that way until you get rid of it. That's the best way to do that. Now, when you're storing your oil-based paint, make sure the can is on there tight and put it in a nice cool area for storage, all right? Same with the latex. The latex will last a little bit, not as long as the oil, but if it's secured tight, it should be fine. It can't be in an area that it will freeze. Frozen latex paint will not work. Anything under, I would recommend storing it above 45 degrees. Don't have it outside in your garage. It doesn't have heat. It will freeze and it'll be no good. Okay, that's another important factor to consider. The other thing that you want to think about is disposal of paint. Now, one thing you can do with latex paint, you can put kitty litter in that to dry it up, and it'll dry hard, and then you can just dispose of it. Most communities have a recycle area that you can take your oil products to. So look into your call your local town health department about disposing of highly volatile compound products, oil paint or thinner of that sort. So I hope this video on safety was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. This is Dan Frost from H.D.F Painting, the fine art of painting, and this is Top Shop with Frost.